Picture the scene at the Windsor gates this morning. Dog walkers, broadcast trucks, a cheeky delivery driver quipping that he's brought Andrew's leaving drinks. It's the theatre of consequence. The king has executed the most severe personal sanction against his brother, the most severe personal sanction against another royal in modern times, stripping styles, titles and honours, serving notice to surrender the Royal Lodge lease and rebadging him as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Yet the exit will be slow, and for now, he says, we're told that he stays 8th in line to the throne. That dissonance is the story. From the public's vantage point, the move looks stark. No Prince, no Duke of York, no HRH, and an eviction notice from a 30-room Windsor home he's occupied for 2 decades. The palace couched it in as necessary in the light of the Epstein scandal, but with sympathies directed to victims. The visual grammar, cameras, crowd, signage are changed. His name struck from the peerage roll that says finality, yet it's not final because succession remains untouched. The gap is already fueling headlines, questions and irritation. A monarch can, by letters patent, grant or withdraw dignities and styles, and that's what happened. But removing someone from the line of succession is a different constitutional animal. It requires legislation, and because the crown is shared, matching or coordinating legislation across Commonwealth realms, just as we saw with the Perth Agreement that produced the Succession to the Crown Act in 2013. Parliament can move briskly when the realms agree, but it is a multi-parliament exercise, not a royal stroke of the pen, hence today's tidiness deficit. Another untidy corner is the Council of State status. By statute, the pool is the sovereign's spouse and the next 4 over 21. In 2022, Parliament added the Princess Royal and the Duke of Edinburgh precisely to avoid reliance on Andrew or the Duke of Sussex, and the practical effect is that Andrew is on the list, but will not be called upon. Lawyers call this a belt and braces fix. The public hears mixed messages. Despite the drama, the logistics are prosaic about the timeline. Surrendering a long lease, decanting staff, securing a new residence and avoiding a fractious Christmas tableau at Sandringham all take time. Expect to move early in the new year, with interim arrangements in Windsor that keep him out of sight while the estate team prepares his Norfolk bolt hole. The optics will remain messy for weeks because property law and family choreography move slower than headlines. Unless, of course, you happen to be a Prime Minister, in which case one is in the front door, one is out the back. Sandringham is beautiful and bleak in equal measure. It's not an urban village with sympathetic neighbours. It's a wind coming in from the wash. It's a working estate. I spent a lot of my childhood in North Norfolk, just round the corner from Sandringham. I know exactly what the weather is like and exactly what the feel of the place is like. It's a working estate, a limited company. He will have accommodation and the private support from the king, but no public role and little sociability. For someone unused to life without deference, this is a social cold bath. For Sarah Ferguson, there is no grace and favour safety net. She will make her own arrangements, or she must make her own arrangements. For Beatrice and Eugenie, titles remain, but the emotional fallout is obvious. Should he be removed from the line of succession? This is, of course, the big question now. On prudence, yes. On mechanics, it's effortful but feasible. The template exists. The 2013 reforms were coordinated and smooth. If the political will exists in London, Ottawa, Canberra, Wellington and other capitals, the change could be framed as a narrow, person-specific disqualification to protect the Crown's credibility rather than a sweeping rewrite. The alternative, leave him in place and promise to legislate only in the event of a catastrophe, is constitutional possible but politically complacent. Today's halfway house invites repeated rows. I'd be really interested to know what anybody thinks of that. Downing Street says there are no plans to act now. That reflects a familiar calculus: finite legislative time, a government focused on economic bills, and a judgment that the practical risk is near zero because there are 7 lives ahead of him. The counter case is reputational and institutional. If you have gone as far as striking out names and taking down crests, leaving the door ajar on succession looks incoherent. It is, in short, a choice between administrative convenience and constitutional hygiene. The Crown has become adept at crisis management by calibrated concession. A little here, a little law here, a little convention there. The Councillors of State fix was elegant, but only because Parliament supplied the elegance. The title's decisive. That was a decision, but only because the prerogative allows decisiveness. Succession sits at that intersection of prerogative and statute, which is why the palace cannot finish the job alone. Today is a reminder that a modern monarchy lives by statute as much as by symbolism. So how to deal with this more cleanly? I think there are 3 steps that would close the gap. A short succession disqualification bill with tightly drafted findings and a schedule listing the person to be excluded, coupled with a realms communique signalling parallel moves as in 2011. A clarifying update to the palace website and court circular style guide so the public references align instantly with legal reality, and a time box decant to Sandringham with a single pooled photo opportunity, and then hard blackout, no dribs, no drabs or van watch content to keep the story alive through Advent. The first is the only one that requires politics. The second and third require discipline. So, yes, the driver's joke lands. There will be leaving drinks boxes and a long winter on the wash. But the constitutional hangover will persist until Parliament, here and across the realms, matches the palace's symbolism with statute. In its current form, the settlement is both tough and tentative. If the point is to put the matter beyond doubt for William's future reign, leaving Andrew in the line looks like an avoidable own goal. Better to tidy the page now than to keep crossing out the same name again and again and again and again and again.